This is Rock Leach with Social Fire. Okay, you all, Corey Minor from The Smart Christian put a video out where he talks about a lot of people who don't like him. Said they actually hate him. Well, you know, he used words to, I think he said that, but then he went to describe it a different way. You all, there are a lot of people, a lot of influencers who have something negative to say about Corey Minor. We're going to talk about it. You all, and several of these people are people who I know, some who I respect, and then some who I just don't, fool with. You stay over there, I'm going to stay over here, stay in my lane. But you all, this is definitely a conversation that needs to be had, because you can get out here on YouTube and see a whole cage match between two people who call themselves Christians. Y'all, I know y'all not the only one to see this. I see it too. We see it too. And we usually won't get involved in picking sides and stuff like that. I just believe if you on YouTube, you have a right to say what you want to say. You have a right, whether that is doctrinally, biblically, constitutionally, you got a right to say what you want to say. But also people have a right to say what they want to say and lend commentary to what you said. Y'all, we got to get into this. You don't want to miss this video.
Social fire, we don't play. Rock Leach bringing the heat all day. Faith on fire, no mask, no leash. Fire in his voice, yeah, I rock.
He the voice for the ones that the church forgot. He bring truth to the light, whether liked or not.
All right, let's go ahead and get into this. What happened is that Corey Minor put a video out here talking about this, and actually I already know this. I actually have Corey's number, and I've talked to him on several occasions. Now, let me say this before people call me a fan of Corey Minor, you all. I just have respect. I have a great respect for Corey. We don't agree on everything. We don't. But I just refuse to believe you can only be friends with folk you agree with 100%. That's not how this thing work. And some of y'all done got it twisted, want to tell YouTubers and influencers who they can associate with and who they can't. Y'all, he not the only one. Let me tell you about this phone call. I called Corey, and I've called him a few times, but I called him one time. Matter of fact, I think it was probably the most recent time, if I'm not mistaken. And I told Corey, because I was talking to him about the interview that he did with Alan Parr. And I said, Corey, let me tell you this, because we do our research over here. Just going to give y'all that. I said, so far, you and Alan Parr, as far as Christian content creators or Christian influencers, are undefeated and undisputed as having the most negative videos about you all, where people are just coming, whether it's about the Bible, talking about, somebody came at Corey talking about it, got into his marriage and talking about that. Y'all, just crazy stuff out here. And, he laughed, and I said, because I do that. I've done him like that, where I call Corey and like, Corey, listen, man, this video done came out, and there's a whole bunch of videos from a particular person come. What did you do to them? What did you do? And Corey will respond. And one thing I'll say this is that talking to Corey, one thing that I know is, y'all, he don't care about this stuff that's going on. And in this video, you're going to see it. But it is the same posture that I carry. Y'all, Social Fire, Rock Leach, we have negative videos about us. We do. Matter of fact, one of the videos we saw, actually felt bad for the person making the video, because they was making the video from their car, which that's where they actually live, in their car. And not for good reasons. But while them living in their car, they got on their phone to make a negative video about Social Fire and Rock Leach. And when they did this video about me, it got them a whole bunch of views. And we was looking at it like, okay, well, my heart went out like, maybe I'll comment or something to help the views go on up a little bit. And my wife said, I wish you would. You better not comment on it. Because I was just looking at it from a standpoint of, you're in your car. Maybe the AdSense will help you get some more, you get more views. You can get a little more change, maybe this will help you. But my wife, who leads our team, I can't do what I want to do around here. But anyway, just looking at this right here, y'all, this was something that goes on. I have plenty of negative videos, but I don't have nearly as many as Corey does or as Alan Parr does. Now, they have way more subscribers than I do, but here's the thing that I know. The tallest nail always gets hit the hardest. Now, I know that's a country saying, but it's a true saying. If people are not, and it was, and Corey says this, it was Cat Williams that said this, if you don't have no haters, it's a situation for you. But later on down the road, if you have haters now, down the road, you ought to have double the haters that you have. When you're doing this work for God out here and very unapologetic about how you're doing that, everybody not going to like you. Everybody not going to like you. And I want to go ahead and get into this right here. I have people who I highly respect who don't like Corey, for whatever reason. And, I don't believe in people saying because you cool with him, I'm not going to be cool with you. And if you're a Christian, quit doing that. That's childish. That is childish. I have Corey that I'll call like that. I have Ray Curry. I have one night going through YouTube, saw a woman on YouTube going in, I mean viciously, cussing and everything, going in about Ray Curry. And what I do, I call Ray and said, Ray, what did you do to this woman? What did you say to this woman? That's how I do him when I call. What in the world did you do? And he's mad. I don't know who that is. I ain't never met her. I don't know who she is. I said, did you see the video? He said, yeah, I saw it. He's like, yeah, you know that. And he is the same posture that I am. Y'all, we don't care. You have a right to say whatever you want to say. You got a right to say whatever you want to say, and we don't care. And I'm going to go in even further after I show you this from Corey. I'm just showing you. These folk out here go low, y'all. I'm talking about try to hit beneath the belt, try to talk about his wife and all kind of stuff. It's just crazy. Now, I'm not at this level yet, but as Social Fire keeps growing, we're going to be one of the taller nails. And then folk going to come after me with ignorant stuff. Now, the cease and desist are one thing. I understand that we not exempt from that over here. We've had our fair share of them over here, and we've defeated in all those areas. But as we grow, we're expecting folk to come after us with different things, just being negative. I don't like his hair. I don't like them glasses Rock be wearing over there. Those are not godly glasses. I don't like the way he says you don't want to miss this video. Why do I not want to miss this video? What's so important about y'all? Church folk crazy out here. And it don't be the folk that don't know Jesus. It's the folk that claim to know God that be out here with this foolishness. Let folks say what they want to say. And if you don't like the video, guess what? Click to another one. Swipe on. Move on, y'all. That's what it is. But let's see what this Corey, because Corey did a little montage, if you would, of some of these videos, y'all. It's crazy. It is crazy. Listen to this.
But I said earlier, there are some people that just hate me. And now, I don't know if it's actual hate, if it's disdain, if it's I don't know what it is. I suspect that some of it is actual hate, because I'm 53 years old. I know what hate feels like. Some of you guys know what hate feels like. Heck, some of you all have hated somebody before. You know what it's like to be hated on. And in the words of, and I know some of you guys don't listen to him, but I just think it's a wonderful statement from an ungodly man, Cat Williams. He said, if you only got 20 haters, I can't remember the exact number, but by the time the year or the summer's up, make sure you got double now. Make sure you got 40 haters.
Yes.
Because that's what haters do. That's their job, to hate. And they need to have an object to hate on. Well, if you want to hate on somebody, focus it on me, because you have no good reason to hate on me. I'm not in sin. I'm not out here teaching bad doctrine, but you might think it's bad. But I just wonder, do these people actually hate me?
Now watch this. Watch all these folk. This is crazy. And I'm going to tell you this. This is just a small portion, because over here at Social Fire, we did our research and found out, it's a ton. That's why I call it. But Alan Parr probably got even more. Y'all, this is crazy. Look at all this. Look at this.
And I'll tell you, smart Christians, I'm not going to do like this. Intelligent, high IQ Christians are some of the worst Christians.
To be honest, you're a liar. And I see all through that. You're a deceiver and you work for hell.
What we are dealing with today with wolves like Corey and others.
Biblically illiterate, you are illiterate. You are not a smart Christian. You were trained to be a puppet for the Roman Catholic Church, to dumb down everybody who is on your channel.
All right, brothers and sisters, we have a guest.
You and your hermeneutics or whatever that mess is, exegesis stuff you tried to promote to my. See, if you knew that, then you wouldn't be in error with it. Let me tell you something, you stupid bastard, Corey.
I just have to shake my head over hearing an actual convicted fraud calling other people frauds.
This sermon is entitled Corey Minor for Arrogant, Unintelligent Reprobate. Before I begin, I would like to begin with a word of prayer.
The guy's not very smart, and I can tell you right now, he's definitely not a Christian.
What are your thoughts on Corey Minor? I don't know him enough, and I've only seen skimmed clips of his videos that he's made about me, and I don't care for him because I don't agree with a lot of stuff he teaches.
Well, first of all, I got horrible news for you there, lying story, Corey.
Okay, so you want to call me names? All right.
This is what you do, my brother. Same thing with that garbage you do with the Greek.
Case closed. It's done. Somebody block Corey from the chat. We no longer need his comments.
And you think that God will sit and tolerate this? You see God going for the jugular. He's very angry. He's very upset. He's highly offended.
How many prophecies do you have to get wrong? How many false prophecies does it take to become a false prophet?
I confessed this publicly the other day, and I said I hated them at that point. And they're perfect, and they have no flaws while going to jail for 13 years and defrauding people of $2.8 million. I had a hatred, and that's not something to like joke around, but I did have hatred in my heart.
The devil has been out here working hard, using these false teachers that are now literally threatening that you will go to hell for keeping Yah's commands.
Hey, put that nigga up. So now, Corey, we realize you're a nobody. So we don't want to sit down with you. You are a loser.
Corey is just a hating ass nigga, bro. He hate on Marcus. Bald-headed, nosy, angry, black, you know.
Yo, and it keeps on going. These folk, y'all, this is crazy. Okay, I'm going to talk about all this, but go ahead.
Unfit man to be a pastor, Corey Minor. Bro, I really was just triggered. I low-key regret putting out that video, bro, because I was hot, bro. And really it was Corey Minor, bro. F Corey Minor.
Corey, you're soft, bro. You're soft.
And that doesn't do anything for me. I promise you, it's more amusing than anything else. Doesn't bother me whatsoever. As a matter of
So here's the thing, y'all. Y'all see that's crazy for all them folk to be like that about one man. And these are so-called Christians. Now, when I say so-called, I'm just saying we as Christians, we have to be judged by our fruit. It's hard to be out here talking like we talk with hate, and the fruit of God, and our fruit is rotten. I mean, that's evident. Y'all, look. Let me say something. I want to say this clearly. I don't respond to every video somebody makes about me, not because I'm scared, not because I don't have an answer, but because I'm focused. I want to say that right there, y'all. I'm focused. When you call by God, you've got to decide what battles are worth your time. Every critic with Wi-Fi isn't worth a response. I don't chase clout. I chase purpose. Folk who chase that clout, when you'll see it happen, because I'm doing this video because Corey, this was a great idea to go ahead and talk about this, and so I'm reacting to his video. But as your channel grows, and please understand this, content creators who are really serious about what you're doing, once your content grows, then people will start using you to do negative things, hoping that they could get you to respond, so it helps with the clicks and the views. And y'all, that's a real thing. And people will say, well, Rock, I see you do different things, with clicks and views. One, go check these people's names, a lot of y'all not going to know that, so I'm not going to say that. Let's do this right here. Whenever it comes to church abuse, whenever it comes to reformation, whenever it comes to manipulation in church, anything where church that comes out of the conversation of church and culture, faith and culture, we're going to talk about. That's generally what we do over here. And that does involve some people who are celebrity pastors. That's what they've turned into. And if they're wrong, and we come in that regard. But then you have, in this regard, other influencer YouTubers, content creators, Christian content creators who will come after you like this, that's happened with Corey. Now, everybody has a right. I want to say that everybody got a right to say what they want to say. You got a right. Say what you want to say, whether it's biblically, whether it's about church, whether it's about doctrine, biblical doctrine, church doctrine, the Constitution of the United States, political affiliations, whatever you want to talk about in that regard, that's your right. That's your right. And we got to understand that everybody got a right. I remember reaching out to Sir Walter Jones. I was sitting on the sitting with my wife. We were on vacation, actually. It was around my birthday. And somebody who I respect, Sir Walter Jones. And I saw him do a video that was a very difficult video because there was another YouTuber that had got caught in something. And Sir Walter Jones, I'll go ahead and say this right here. So, well, because I don't want to make it about that. If I bring up what he was talking about, then the whole video is going to have to turn to that. But what he was saying was not popular opinion, but it was wisdom. It was wisdom. And then you had another YouTuber that attacked him for it. You know, and it was more of a letter of the Bible versus the spirit of the Bible. You know, there's one thing to be biblical and there's another thing to be Christ-like. That's one thing that we've had to learn through doing this YouTube journey. And I reached out to him to tell him, hey, it was unpopular, but I agree. One reason that I agree is because I had a personal perspective, because I had to bury somebody who I went with that letter of the Bible with, that gave me a lot of regret, because I told them something that the letter of the Bible said, but it wasn't necessarily Christ-like what I told them. And that was a battle that I dealt with for a little while. Now, I told Sir Walter Jones, well, that's why it's good for some people out here. Get you some wise friends out here so you can know when to go and when to not go. You know, get you some accountability partners. I have several accountability partners. But I told Sir Walter Jones, great word. I appreciate it. I knew that he was going to get some flack from that. And lo and behold, he did. People, you know, made videos, but he said it in the video. I know people are going to say what they're going to say. One thing that we got to understand is that you can't be out here in these YouTube streets making Christian content, especially when you're calling out negative things, and not expect somebody to come for you. You should. That's why when you do it and people come for you, you got to know that it's going to happen. Two, for those of you that's retaliating like can't nobody say nothing about you, grow up. Grow up in the name of Jesus. Grow up. Get your fruit together. I didn't say get yourself together. Get your fruit together. Because what that's doing is it's exposing where you're weak at, and you need to grow in some areas in your life. We got to go ahead and call that what we need to call. Grow up. Folk got a right to say what they gonna say. Critics gonna say what they gonna say. But if you really doing what God have called you to do, expect folk to say it. Ain't never in my life seen so many Christian content creators whining about everything. If you're a Christian, quit all the whining, wipe your face and know that you doing what you're supposed to be doing. If you really doing what you're supposed to be doing, that's the thing. That's the thing, you know. And, you know, I don't say too much about this because I don't really come after other YouTubers. I don't generally. And, you know, I stay away from all the beefs and stuff like that. And this video will probably get somebody to be like, Rock must be on Corey's side. No, I didn't say that. I just wanted to address this conversation because somebody gonna want to start a cage match with Rock Leach. And although I like a fight, oh no, y'all don't hear me. I got to go back to the full screen. I like a good fight. I do. I love a good fight. But what does it help? What does it help? And what is it really about? Is this fight really about views? Is that what it's really about? Or is it about righteousness? Or is this about the letter of the Bible? Or is this about the spirit of the Bible? Is this about being biblical or being Christ-like? Because if you're going to really be Christ-like, you may need to ignore it and let your silence be the loudest sermon heard. Oh, y'all missing it. That was a word right there. I don't have to. I got a team around me, and we stay accountable to God over here. We stay focused. I don't let things pull me away from focus. I think that there are several YouTubers, some that, and let me say this right here. I've had people that have not only done negative videos about me, but I got some commenters that'll go over to other people's channels that they'll see me on or something like that and say, you don't need to talk to Rock Leach. You don't need to talk to him because he did such and such, such and such. And they talking about something that I did a whole video on about me growing. And I, you know, did something wrong and was telling the testimony about where God brought me from. But they took that as a weapon to go over there and say this. And the content creator, who's a friend, you know, screenshotted and showed it to me after with their response of, hey, you need to go take that up with Rock. That's not nothing you got. But that person was trying to make sure that the content creator wasn't friends with me. Now, you know, I don't do a lot of getting on other people's channels and different things like that. There's only a few channels I just went to, different things like that, and a few that I'll go to. But y'all got to stop that. Yeah, people do that. People do that, and it's crazy. It's crazy. But content creators, make sure that your fruit is right. You know, if you're out here battling and doing whole cage matches, you know, folk like that. It's entertainment. But what is it helping? What is it really helping? What is your real focus? What is your real goal? You know? And just because I'm doing this doesn't mean that I hate some of the folk that was on that video. Miss me with that. We grown folk out here. Miss me with that. I ain't got to agree with what you do to still have some respect for you. Now, I lose respect for you. I won't talk to you at all, you know? But some of y'all I actually still communicate with, you know? And so I'm just saying that to say there are a lot of content creators who I've become friends with through doing Social Fire. And I'm not a person that's finna tell somebody just because I know you've got some unpopular opinions. I'll hear what you got to say, but I'm not finna just totally write you off because you had a different opinion. I don't know where we get that at. I can talk to folk. I can talk to folk. And you know what? The love of God can be felt through our relationship, and they can get back right with God. I would rather them look at me and my life and my love and respect and see that as a reason to get back right with God. But how are they going to do that if you kick them out, if you're shunning them? Anyway, I'm talking too much. I wanted to talk about this because this is a little personal to me. All right, you get in the comments. I want to talk to you. Let's find out what you think about this. Let's talk about it. Let's go.
Social fire, we don't play. Rock Leach bringing the heat all day. Faith on fire, no mask, no leash. Fire in his voice, yeah, I rock.
He the voice for the ones that the church forgot. He bring truth to the light, whether liked or not.